Okay, this is 8.4 part 2. Now, it's asking me to find the range and the standard deviation for the data points 8, 10, 11, 12, and 14. So I'm going to go ahead and find the range first. Remember, the range is highest minus the lowest data point. So the highest data point in this case would be 14 minus the lowest data point in this, which is 8. So 14 minus 8 is 6. Okay, now part B, standard deviation, is what we're going to compute. So before we start this, the standard deviation formula, again, is the square root of sum of the data points minus the mean squared all over n minus 1. Okay, so I need to know a little bit of information. First, let's go ahead and get n. So n is a number of data points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So n equals 5. Okay, next I need to know the mean. So to find the mean, remember x bar equals sum of the x values over n. So I'm going to take 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 14 and divide that by n, which is 5. Okay, so let's figure that out. So 8 and 10, so 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 14, and I got the wrong answer. So 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 14. Again, guys, I'm double checking to make sure my values are right, and I would highly recommend stopping after each step and just make sure that you type stuff in right, because with standard deviation it is very easy to make a mistake. So when I sum the numerator, I got 55, and I'm dividing that by 5. So x bar equals 11. Okay, now I have the mean. So then in the last video, I told you that you had to make a table. So the first column is my x values, and that's what you're seeing right here. So x values. Okay? And then my next column should say x minus x bar. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, x minus x bar. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 8, which is a data point, minus the mean, which we found was 11. And 8 minus 11 is negative 3. Now, your next column, you're going to take x minus x bar, which we got negative 3, and we're going to square that value. So negative 3 squared means negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. Okay? Let's do the next one. 10 minus 11. 10 minus 11 equals negative 1. If I take negative 1 and I square it, I get a positive 1, because that's negative 1 times negative 1. Okay, 11 minus 11 is 0. 0 squared is 0. Next one. 12 minus 11 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 14 minus 11 equals 3, and 3 squared equals 9, because remember, it's 3 times 3. So the total of x minus x bar squared, I'm going to add 9 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9. Okay, so let's add that up. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 9 will give me 20. All right, so I'm going to write a little note that the sum, or the summation, remember the total is x, summation of x minus x bar squared equals 20. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because remember that n equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to use the standard deviation formula. Okay, so remember, the standard deviation formula is take the square root of the sum of x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. I have the summation of x minus x bar squared, which is 20. And n is 5 minus 1. Okay? So 20 over 4, because 5 minus 1 is 4, equals the square root of 5. So let's figure out what the square root of 5 is. It equals 2.236. So again, I'm going to round to 2 decimal places. So standard deviation is 2.24. Okay? Okay. So when we talk a deviation, we are basically talking the measure of spread. So let's say that that's the mean. Small deviation means that each value is close to the mean. So this would be +1 standard deviation. This one would be, +2. And then below would be -1, -2. Okay? So it's a measure of spread, so distance away from x bar. Large deviation means that we have the mean here, and the spread is much more wide. So this would be +1 standard deviation up, or -1 standard deviation below, and then +2 is clear out here, and -2 is clear out here. So again, small deviation means it's closer to the mean. Large deviation means it's further away from the mean, and it has larger spread. So let's look at the range and standard deviation for the following data set. So before we do anything, I'm going to find n. N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n equals 6. So I have 6 data values, okay? Range. Range is the highest value minus the lowest value. So highest value here is 19 minus lower, which is 2. So this is 17. So that is my range. So that's A. B, standard deviation. So for standard deviation, remember the first thing we got to do is find x bar, or the mean. So x bar is equal to summation of x over n. Okay, so my x values are 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 11 plus 14 plus 19, all divided by n, which is 6. Okay, so let's figure out what x bar equals. All right, so 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 11 plus 14 plus 19. I'm just making sure that's okay. 2, 5, 6, 11, 14, 19, yep. And I got 57. I'm going to divide that by 6. And I got 9.5. Okay, so the mean is 9.5. Now, I'm going to make the chart. So remember, guys, I have to show each row is an x value minus the mean. So I need 7 rows. So the first column is going to be my x values. The next column is going to be x minus x bar. And then the next column is going to be x minus x bar quantity squared. Okay, and again, because I have 6 values, I need 6 rows beyond this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can clean this up a little bit here. Hopefully the eraser will behave. See how it goes. Alright, so whoops. I think it wants to erase everything. Yep. Shoot. Okay, guys, so bear with me. Hopefully you're still drawing this. Again, I don't need this here. Okay, anyways, while I'm playing around here, you can go ahead and get started. All right, so x is 2, 5, 6, 11, 14, and 19. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 minus 9.5. So 2 minus 9.5 equals negative 7.5, and I'm going to square that. I got 56.25. Okay, next, 5 minus 9.5. I have negative 4.5, and I have to square it. I get 20.25. 6 minus 9.5. I get negative 3.5, and I'm going to square that. And I get 12.25. 11 minus 9.5. 11 minus 9.5 is 1.5. And I'm going to square that. And I get 2.25. 14 minus 9.5. I got 4.5, and I'm going to square that. And we've already done that. It's 20.25. And finally, 19 minus 9.5. This equals 9.5, and I'm going to square that. That equals 90.25. So now what I want to do is I want to sum x minus x bar squared. Okay, so sum means to add. So 56.25 plus 20.25 plus 12.25 plus 2.25 plus 20.25 plus 90.25. So let's figure out what that is. Again, I'm just double checking to make sure I got these right values. So 56.25 plus 20.25 plus 12.25 plus 2.25 plus 20.25 plus 90.25. And when I add those all together, I get 201.5. So remember that 201.25 is the sum of x minus x bar squared. Now I got to complete the standard deviation formula. So I'm going to take the square root of the sum of x minus x bar squared, which we found to be 201.5, over n, it remember is 6, minus 1. Okay, so standard deviation equals, I'm going to take 201.5, divide that by 5 first, and when I do that, I get the square root of 40.3. Now I'm going to take the square root of that value, and I get 6.348. Again, we're going to round to the nearest hundredths, so the answer is going to be standard deviation is equal to 6.35. Okay, guys, so I'm just letting you know, common mistake by a student is they will make the chart, fine. They'll sum x minus x bar, no problems. They'll even divide it by n minus 1, but they'll forget to take the square root. So don't forget to take the square root of the sum of x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. Okay, so that's your last step. Just don't forget to do it. I'm going to stop the video here, and we're going to pick up on this next problem because it just takes a little bit of time to do standard deviation. So let me see if I can stop the video here. Oops.